Many years ago, the world lived in darkness. In this darkness, a young couple on Guayhanas became parents to a baby boy. It did not take them long to realize there was something very different and very special about their son. They called him Weejit. We means big, Yet means man, Weejit means big man. This boy got the name Weejit because he was growing so fast that it frightened his mother and father. They brought him to the old people and said, "Something is wrong with our child Weejit." The elders took one look at the child, and they nodded their heads and they smiled. They told the parents, "For many years we have been told that this child was coming to be with us." And so the chiefs got together to meet with the couple. They brought a big treasure chest made of cedar, known as a gulanik. Our leaders have known for generations that one day a boy would come to this place, a boy who would change the world. This child may have been born to you, but he belongs to everybody. Right now we live in darkness. This boy is going to bring the light. Out of the box they pulled a magic raven skin, made from the feathers, beak, and claws of a real raven, but much, much larger than any normal raven. They explained, when Weejit grows big enough, he can put on this raven skin, and when he wears it, he will be able to fly. He will also be able to change himself into anything he wants. The chiefs continued, Weejit is going to leave our island, and he is going to fly over the big waters to get the daylight ball from the chief of the heavens and bring it back to us. The chiefs pulled 3 little bags out of the gulanik. Holding the first bag, they said, when Weejit flies over the big water, he will get tired. He should take one of these rocks and drop it in the big ocean. The little rock will change into an island where he can land and rest. Taking out the next bag, they said, after Weejit passes over the water, he will come to a big land where there are no islands. When Weejit comes to the big land, there will be waters running off of the land into the salt water. When he gets to the place where the waters meet, he will take these eggs and put them in the moving water, and he is to say, let all of these rivers bring forth an abundance of fish for my people. They took out the final bag and said, when Weejit finally gets to the big land, he is to spread these seeds all over the land, and these seeds are going to bring forth all kinds of trees and food for our people. Weejit continues to grow, and soon the time comes when he's ready to receive his gifts. With great excitement, he tucked the cedar box underneath his arm and took flight. Before long, however, Weejit began to lose his way in the darkness. He became so tired flying back and forth, he was forced to drop many rocks in order to rest. Today, there are many islands along the west coast. These are the rocks Weejit dropped in the water. Weejit finally arrived at the big land and river coming down. The river today is known as the Skeena, but in old times it was called the Xian. As Weejit flew northward over the land, he remembered to drop the fish eggs into the rivers and spread the seeds all over the land. After Weejit threw over the Xian, he came to Lisim's, known today as the Nass River. Up in the mountains, the river turned into a creek, which turned into a small rivulet before it came to the place where the juice from the clouds fell on the mountain. When Weejit reached this place, he was told to look straight up into the sky where he would see a wee light way up there, and that was where he would go. Up there, there was light. He had lived all his life in darkness and did not know what light was. It hurt his eyes, but he was excited to see everything so clearly. Weejit knew he must go to the chief and ask for the daylight ball so he could take it back to light the world. Weejit walked up to the chief of the heavens and explained who he was, where he came from, and the difficulty his people had living all their lives in darkness. The chief of the heavens looked at Weejit and said, "You cannot have the daylight ball." Weejit thought to himself, this isn't supposed to happen. What am I going to do now? Weejit left the longhouse. He remembered he had some tricks. He put on the raven skin and flew up into the trees nearby the house. He sat patiently and looked around, watching everything. Eventually, a beautiful young woman walked out of the chief of the heavens longhouse. She was the chief's daughter. It was a really hot day, and she was getting water for the house. She dipped a ladle into the water and began to fill the box. After a few dips, she looked around. She then took a sip. Once again, she looked around to make sure she was not seen. Then she took the box back to the longhouse. But Weejit was watching. Ah, she's a tricky one. Now I know how I'm going to get the chief's daylight ball. The next time the young woman came, Weejit flew up the creek and took the raven skin off. Then he changed himself into a pine needle and floated down the river and right into the woman's dipper. Once again, she looked around and took a sip, swallowing Weejit whole. Soon after, the chief's daughter gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, never suspecting it was really tricky little Weejit. The Chief of the Heavens loved his new grandson and did everything he could to make him happy. Grandpa would lovingly take down the box, open the lid, and give the baby the daylight ball to play with. Baby Widget was happy playing around with the daylight ball at his grandpa's house. One day, when Widget was playing by the front door, he took the daylight ball and ran as fast as he could. He raced straight into the hole in the sky. Upon arriving, he put the daylight ball in the vent box with the lid on. He quickly slipped the raven skin on and whoosh! He landed back on the banks of the Elysiums. Widget was tired and hungry. As Widget's belly rumbled, he noticed some frog spirits sitting in the dark. They had already caught lots of fish. He called to them, "Oh, my brothers, I would like a fish. I'm so hungry. I've been working really hard." And the frog spirit said, "Beat it, Widget. Leave us alone. Get your own fish." Widget offered the frog spirits a last chance. "All right, my brother, if you don't give me a fish, I'm going to open this box and let out a big, bright light, and you will disappear. You will never be able to fish again. I just want one fish." The frogs replied, "Beat it, Widget. You liar, we know how tricky you are." Upon hearing these words, Widget took the top off the box. Whoosh! The sun flew up into the sky where it brought light to the whole world. The world cast off its darkness, all the beautiful colors came out, and it was hot. A wind started to blow. It came down the river to the ocean, and the frogs were blown to the mouth of the Elysiums, where they turned to stone.